All right, so it's time to tackle the front and rear bumper project that I've had actually teed up for a long time. I got these bumpers quite a while ago before I even started this build, but I'm going to walk you through the steps we're going to take. But first, let me walk you through what we have. So this is the rear bumper. As part of the back date, I really wanted to go with the vintage style, kind of earlier Suffolk style Range Rover bumper. So the simple metal, tube, as opposed to the bumper that comes on these cars, which has the little rubber like bumperettes and whatnot. So this one's super simple. I think just more minimal, like more classic looking. So this one I actually found on, I believe it was eBay, that someone was selling. Obviously the original bumpers are incredibly hard to come by. They aren't really sold anymore. So this one is modification, where basically someone's taken a existing bumper, which is most of this like dull steel section here, and they've added just these little wings. Okay, so you can see really nice work there, and then of course smoothed all this out. So that's basically all you have to do. So these are easy to source. These are like a dime a dozen. It's these end plates, with this curved detail and whatnot that hugs up against the back of the bumper that's hard to find. So for the rear bumper, we're gonna do that first. The front bumper we're actually gonna do on the car. I'll explain that. It's another part of the video here, but basically what I did is I took some all-purpose cleaner. So this is eraser. Went over the whole thing, just get all the dirt, dust, stuff that had been settled on there from been sitting in storage. Also took some heavy-duty metal cleaner that had a few areas of rust, just from surface rust, just from sitting, getting exposed, just like regular everyday humidity and things like that. So we got them cleaned up, all prepped. First thing we're gonna do, use our primer. So this is automotive primer, pretty straightforward. You can get this pretty much anywhere. We're going to give this number of coats, usually 2 to 3. You want to start light, then you can kind of go a little heavier, but the goal is more coats, lighter each time. That is what gives it a smoother finish. If you go real heavy, it can get pretty textured. And then we're going to use our go-to here, SEM Trim Black. This is just a super nice, like matte finish. The top of the can is pretty indicative of what it looks like, but just a matte trim. It's going to match the rest of the car really nicely. Now, typically you can put SEM straight onto parts of your car. It's kind of the way it's designed, but since this is bare metal, it's never been painted before, we do want to give it a nice layer of primer, just as a good substrate, a good base for that SEM. That way it adheres and lasts for a long time. So really easy, a few coats of this, light coats in between, few coats of this, light coats in between, then this will be ready to mount. So go ahead and get that knocked out, and we'll get it mounted, and then we'll move to the front. Okay, so we've got everything primed, wiped down. I sanded this, looking really, really good. This primer came out super consistent. So next step is trim black. So we're gonna do multiple coats of this, probably 3 at least. You want to spray it lightly, just like the primer. You don't want to go too heavy. And you want to wait 3 to 5 minutes between coats for flash time. It's pretty quick, so you can kind of just do all this at once. On the primer, I gave it a little more time between coats to really set. This is meant to be a one-stage application. So I know a lot of people who use this are like, are you supposed to clear coat it? Or are you supposed to cover it with something? It's really meant to be single stage. This is a bumper. It's going to get some wear and tear. With this product, the recommendation, honestly, is that you touch it up. The beauty of this, though, is that it looks great. Like, it's matte, it's trim-esque. Like, it just looks like automotive OEM factory paint. It doesn't look like a rattle can job. It's going to look like this came from Land Rover, that it was coated in the factory because of kind of how they formulated this. So we're going to go and get this sprayed. I'll show you the final results, and we'll put it on. All right, so there's the completed product. Super happy with how this turned out. Finish is very smooth, very uniform. I think it looks great. So SEM Trim Black does it again. This product's really, really good. If you watch the D1 videos I did with the Land Rover, I used this a good bit on the roof rack and some other things. So we're going to go ahead and get this on the vehicle, and then we are going to do the same process essentially with the front bumper. We are doing that one on the car. was actually pretty difficult to fit, so I had to kind of use like a rubber mallet and all kinds of stuff, and I didn't want to do that with the finish on here, otherwise it's just going to mess the finish up. So we actually fitted that one, bolted it into the frame unfinished, then we'll mask off the vehicle. We'll do the priming, sanding, and trim black painting on that one while it's on, and then I'll show you the final product for both. We'll wrap the video up. All right, so I've got the car in a different location, but as I mentioned, on the front bumper, we're gonna have to do it on the car. The fit where these brackets attach to the frame is super tight, and so I've kind of had to, you know, use a mallet and those kinds of things to get it on here. Obviously don't want to do that when it's painted and finished and looking perfect. So we put this on, and I just finished cleaning it with Osfo. So this metal bumper was fabricated, obviously custom. You can see where they have taken the stock, if you will, bumper and converted to the suffix or older style look. Adding these end caps, obviously there were welds and grinds and things done to put these brackets on, because these brackets are aligned for a 4-door short wheelbase versus the 2-door where this, you know, would have been standard. So anyway, this whole thing's been messed with, and it's been sitting around for a while, and so it gathered a little bit of surface rust. No big deal. So Osfo, if you don't know what that is super powerful, pretty impressive. This was absolutely filthy. I didn't get a before shot, unfortunately, but it's a metal polish. It's something where you've got to wear like gloves and a mask, eye protection, all that. It's pretty serious stuff. But you just take like some quadruple aught steel wool, just a little bit of this Osfo liquid out of the bottle. You know, the bottle's huge. It'll last you like probably your whole life, because you don't have to use much at all. And you just scrub with the quadruple aught, and it will take off rust and staining and all that, make metal look incredible. I mean, obviously these weld areas are always going to look like that, but like you can see here just how nice it looks. So not that I'm planning to keep this, but if any of you are trying to polish like exhausts, I don't know, like engine parts, stuff that just can get a lot of grime and, you know, things caked on it, rusted areas, any of that kind of stuff, exhaust tips especially, Osfo, O-S-P-H-O. So anyway, this is all prepped, clean. We're gonna prime it like we did the other one. We're gonna paint it like we did the other one, you know, really just the same steps. So go and get that done. As you can see, I've also protected the entire car. This car's been freshly resprayed. I got the new grills in, new badges in, and all that. So do not want to get any primer or paint on all of our beautiful work so far. So we'll get this knocked out, and then I'll give you a look at what the whole thing looks like together. But this looks like anything like the back bumper. I think it's going to come out really great. All right, so we are done. That is the final look. Super happy with how this turned out. It's exactly the look I was going for. Like I said, just did the same process. 3 coats of primer, keep it light. 3 coats of trim black SEM, keep it light. Sand in between. I used 2000, they said 800. 2000's a little better in my opinion, but yeah, I think this came out super nice. Take you guys around the back, give you a quick look at that, just to see how all that came together. Yeah, really liking that look. It's exactly what I was going for, you know, kind of a vintage vibe. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and this particular project on this series. We've got several things still left. Most obviously, we gotta get the old Emu 2-inch lift on. We gotta get our new wheels and tires mounted, which have already been balanced and put on the wheels. Just gotta put them on the car. So that's really gonna change the whole vibe of this car, frankly. So I'm excited to get that going. We got interior projects in terms of stereo, headliner, what have you. But yeah, making great progress. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you don't already, please subscribe. That way you can catch all the future episodes, and also gives you a chance to go back and see what I've done on the car so far. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.